This is TWiT.
Windows Update is now going to...
I know.
I have mixed feelings about this. I kind of, on Linux, I like it. And on Mac, I like it. I update with, a package manager.
I think this is misunderstood. I think this is part of the
problem. It's like WinGet.
So it doesn't mean we're switching it over, right? So let me just explain how this, my understanding of this, because there's not, the explanation from Microsoft, not very good. So today in Windows, Microsoft has figured out all different ways to update the system, right? Obviously, we have an app store. We update the apps you install from the store. We do have WinGet, which allows you to install and update apps from both the store and WinGet's web repository. Okay. We have Windows Update, which is for installing or for updating the system. Also, security updates, quality updates, new features that are in the OS, right? So if you think about like a feature like something in Paint, that's not coming through Windows Update, right? That's coming through the store. You get an app update there, and that's how you get that feature, right? So the big change that Microsoft has made in the past, 3-4 years with Windows Update is that they've separated out OS components and put them into the store so they can be serviced that way. And that makes sense because a lot of people on OS doing OS, like a lot of businesses especially, are stuck on some version of Windows from the past, and they want to update those components separately from the OS. And so, this is what Apple and Chrome do, or Google does with their mobile OSs as well, right? Same system. You componentize the system. You pull stuff out that you need to update on a more frequent basis, and you put that in the
Google
store.
started this, but they had to do it because Android wasn't getting updated.
No one was
by the carriers, right? Right. So they said, okay, well, we're going to take these components, we're going to put them in the store, they'll get auto-updated that way.
Yep. Yeah, so we did the same thing in Windows. It's exactly the same. So when you see the headline that Microsoft is going to start updating apps through Windows Update, many people's minds immediately go to, oh, what's happening to the store? And if you're a little more technical, you might be like, well, wait a minute, what's happening to WinGet? Like, what does this mean, bro?
This sounds like WinGet. Yeah.
It's not that yet. There's nothing to indicate that this will impact WinGet in the slightest. Although, well, actually, I mean, not directly, right? So in other words, let's think about an app like Google Chrome. So Google Chrome is like many Windows apps. It has its own built-in updating mechanism. And what this means is that most people have 37 of these apps on their computers, and at any random time or right after you reboot the computer, these updaters run. Your computer feels slow because it's all this stuff, or you're getting interrupted by all these things.
Churning.
And so I know when I come to this computer to this show, without a doubt, every single time, I will run Discord, and it's like, oh, there's a Discord update. And then I'll run Notion, and I'll start navigating to the notes, and right as I get close, it's like, boop, this new version. Do you want to install this now or wait? I'm like, So today I decided to install it, and when I came back, it was in a different place. I was already like halfway to to these notes. So they're actually trying to solve that problem. So the idea here is like, look, we made a store. It was originally for mobile apps. Almost nobody used it except for farting apps and stupid things. And then over time, Microsoft opened it up to support all kinds of different apps, right? And so today, there's everything. Like no matter what it is, you could put it in the store. And they announced some Win32 advances for the store, actually at build. But the reality is some percentage of apps just aren't going to ever be part of that, right? And so actually, I just looked at this today, and let's see if I can find this quick, but I have I created a script that runs WinGet to install all the apps that I want when I put together a new computer, right? So
yeah, that's the right way to do it.
Yeah, let me just bring this thing up because it's shifting. It's kind of interesting. So there are 18 apps that get installed, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of them come from the web, and the remaining, so whatever I said, 11 or whatever, comes from the store. Right? I prefer to get apps from the store because the updating experience is so seamless. These apps, by and large, there are exceptions. One of the problems with Microsoft opening up the store and then app makers agreeing to become part of the store is that they can now choose not to use the Windows Update system. The Windows Store the Microsoft Store system, meaning all kinds of things like you might not agree to their, volume, what is essentially volume licensing policy. We can install this app on 1 million computers if you want. Individual app makers to say, no, I only want you to put it on 2 computers or whatever it might be, right? So to make it easier or better for apps to be in the store, they've really loosened the rules there. So there's all kinds of things you could do, but I'm looking at this list. So for example, the one big one that stands out to me is Affinity Photo 2. Doesn't do any of the back-end stuff with the store. So when I run that app for the first time, it asked me to sign in with my Affinity account. The original vision for the store was you would never do that. You had signed in with your Microsoft account or your Enter ID account. That passed through all of your rights, and you just got into the app and you were good to go. But now they allow app makers, it's their choice, to bypass that. The other one that stands out is PowerToys, which is a Microsoft app. That app does not get updated through the store. It has its own installer, and you'll see a prompt. It will come up and say, hey, there's a new update to PowerToys. If you try to update that app with Winget, I believe that fails. I think it actually says you have to run their install. So there's all these exceptions, right?
Oh, yeah. And now you're going to throw a bunch of third parties in there, and they're each going to do it their own way.
That's right. So I think what this is aimed at is third-party software makers where creating and maintaining a software updating system on your own is either expensive or time-consuming or both. And they're like, look, we'll just do this through Windows Update. If you go into Windows Update right now, people watching the show know about this, but a lot of people might not. If you go into advanced options, one of them is receive updates for other Microsoft products. And when you do that, I'm not seeing it here, but there's a link usually where you can go to the web and see which Microsoft apps can be updated through Windows Update. Visual Studio is one of them. So if you're running big Visual Studio, not code, but big Visual Studio, those updates can actually go through the Windows Update today. I believe Microsoft Office would be in there, of course, and then whatever. There's probably a list of 25, 30 Microsoft apps. So I think the only change here, really, unless I'm missing something because they haven't communicated it otherwise, is that this thing is in early preview. They're allowing third-party app developers to contact them and say, hey, I'd like to get on this program. Let me know what I got to do. You can test it. And the idea is your app is your app and you do your thing, but you handle updating through us. And so you provide us with the update, and then we blow it out to all of the people who have your app in the world, no matter how they installed it. They don't install it through Windows Update. They install it however they install it. So when people ask about Winget, my answer for now, unless I hear otherwise, is you run Winget install name of app. If that app is installing in the future, updating in the future through Windows Update, you could run upgrade and then get an update through Winget if you wanted to.
Yeah, but I'm wondering if there's a flag there that says just keep this thing up to date, and whenever there's a new version, grab it. As opposed to, no, I want to keep running this specific version or even downgrade to a version.
Yeah, I don't know what I don't know that. They haven't discussed that. So
because I could see the store if you put something for update through the stores because you want it always up to date. But I would like to use Winget to say I want to keep this specific version installed.
Yeah. Look, you as an app maker in the store could say, okay, like Affinity did this. Like there's an Affinity Photo 1, which is 1X. It went to whatever version. And then there's an Affinity 2, which I think is on 2.6 or something. And then someday there'll be an Affinity 3. And you can't arbitrarily choose any version, but if you have the license for 1, you get the latest version of that. If you have 2, you get the latest version of that. And then someday there'll be a 3, like I said. But I don't know how they divide it up. But if you think about how Winget works, I mean, it's pointing toward, 2 repositories, one of 2 repositories. And so in the case of the store, it's just looking and seeing what the latest version is. It's just running that behind the scenes. That's fine. I don't think anything changes for web-based apps because I'll just say Chrome will never do this, but let's just pretend Google's like, we want to take advantage of this. You would say Winget upgrade or update Google.com, and it's probably happening through Windows Update in the future, but you don't really care. You don't really care.
Yeah, I don't know why you'd mess with the browser update. They're pretty good about that.
That was a bad example, but I'm just trying to, look, Adobe has their own updating stuff. They have this stupid front end. A lot of app makers have this stuff. So this is just, I really think this is about, this is kind of the famous thing with Microsoft and Windows, or one of them, which is that, there would be problems in Windows, and they always users will always blame Microsoft. But in a lot of cases, it's just stuff like this. It's like, why is my hard drive spinning all the time? Why is it doing this? How come when I log in, it takes minutes? And it's like, well, you have all these things running. And it's like, well, how come this and how come this? And it's like, a lot of it is this kind of stuff. So they're trying to get ahead of that. But also, remember who the customers are here, right? The majority, the important ones anyway, are businesses. So there's also an IT admin element to this because businesses can now have policies that determine whether or not you're going to get this update or when you get it or whatever it is. Like they can go in and say, yeah, I see that there's an update for app A, but we're not, until we approve it, you hold on to that and they keep running the thing that they have. And that's a big deal too, right? And that's not something, well, there are ways to do everyone. I mean, people who manage environments know you can pull an app in and write your little script and, we're going to do this thing and we're only going to install this version and blah, blah, blah. You can do those things, but it's a little tedious, right? And they're trying to make that easier. And I think this might be, I think it's for that.
I don't think it's a pipeline to that.
Yeah, it's not, the store's not going away. It's not replacing WinGet or WinGet isn't changing. It's just we did Windows Update for a specific reason 20-something years ago. We added apps. They've been talking about this, by the way, for a million years. I mean,
right.
One of the big, it's stupid it took so long, but a lot of modern computers now, instead of having that app from the PC maker or in addition to, will the updates, like my HP, Lenovo's, like you'll get firmware updates to Windows Update or you'll get driver updates to Windows Update. And it goes through the same process. You have to, reboot and installs offline, blah, 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 whatever. But, Windows Update is a known good, globally available service, works great. They talk about the eco-friendly nature of it. Like, we'll install updates when the electricity's cheap. It's like, okay, that's fine. But, for users,
I think you hit the main point, which is for the small builder who wants to deploy through the store, take care of my updates for me. I don't want to do it.
Yep, because there's all this work with it's bad. Look, no one even wants to make Windows apps,
and it's work that makes no money, just costs money.
Yeah, just like we'll just do that part for you. It's like nice. Like honestly, I think this is that's fine. I mean, cynically, you could be like, oh, great, another way to update something in Windows, and like, yeah, fair enough. I mean, yes, but it's really the same. It's the same. We've had this for a while. Like I think Windows Update is known good, right? Like, for the most part,
there are many problems. This one does not rank high at all.
I don't think so.
Hey, it's me, Leo Laporte. I hope you've enjoyed this little snippet from Windows Weekly. If you want to see more, want to catch the whole show, you can subscribe in your favorite podcast client or visit our website, twit.tv/WW. And of course, there's links right below me.